Alright guys, so yesterday you should have watched a video that kind of introduced solving one-step equations. And so now we're going to take a few more notes to make sure we truly understand. So we're going to title this Solve One-Step Equations. And remember, one-step equations has a letter or a variable, and that's our unknown letter or unknown number, and then some extra stuff that we might need to do. Okay, so this right here is an example of a one-step equation. It takes one step to get to our final answer. Okay. So to solve it, the first thing you're going to do is find the inverse. The inverse operation. Inverse just means opposite. Okay? Inverse just means opposite. So we are finding the opposite operation. Meaning, if we're starting off with addition, the opposite is subtraction. If we're starting off with subtraction, the opposite is addition. If we're starting off with multiplication, the opposite is division. If we're starting off with division, the opposite is multiplication. Step number 2, once you have found your inverse operation, you're going to solve on both sides of the equal sign. Or the inequality symbol, depending on if you're 7th or 8th grade. Okay. By solve, I just mean do the math. 8 plus 3, 9 plus 2, 4 plus 8. Whatever your math is, you're going to solve it on both sides. And lastly, you're going to box in your final answer. And what we want our answer to look like is the letter equals some number. That is our ultimate goal. We want to get the letter by itself. If you follow these steps every single time, you will never get your problem wrong. So, remember, you can pause and rewind as much as you need. So let's do an example. The one that we did up top. Okay. So our goal is to get the x by itself. Here's my x. If it were me and I was just learning this, I would take my highlighter and I would highlight what I want to get by itself. Okay? I'm going to split my problem in two. So I have the left side of the equal sign and the right side. You always work on the side with the letter, with the variable, okay? And you always want to get rid of whatever is on the same side, because remember, this is our goal, to get that x by itself. So step 1 says find the inverse operation. Here we have plus 3. Plus 3. So the opposite of plus is minus. So because I'm plussing here, I'm going to subtract here. Step 2 says to solve on both sides of the equal sign. That just means what you do on one side, which was minus 3, we have to do on the other. And let me change colors so that you can see what we are actually doing. Let's do a dark color. We got minus 3 here. What you do on one side, you have to do on the other. Okay. in whatever math that is. So 3 take away 3 we know is 0. So I'm just going to cross that out because we no longer need it. Okay? 8 take away 3 is 5. Then you're going to bring down everything you haven't used. Because this looks in the format like that, we are done with our final answer. Okay. All right, we'll do one more example. Remember, the variable can be any letter in the alphabet. Remember, if there is no number or if there's no operation in between, that means to multiply. So this is saying 2 times some number equals 8. Well, we know 2 times 4 equals 8, but let's prove our answer. So step 1, we're going to find the inverse operation. Well, we're starting with multiplication, so the opposite is division. And again, here's my variable. There's my variable, so I got to get rid of that 2. So I'm going to divide by 2 on this side, solve on both sides of the equal sign, so whatever I do on one side I have to do on the other. 2 divided by 2 we know is 1, so that's going to cross out, bringing down what we haven't used. And then 8 divided by 2 is 4. If it's in the format we like, where the x is by itself, we are finished with our problem. Okay, now you will finish your assignment on your own. If you have any questions, please be sure to ask. And that is it.